Hi guys, my name is Citrus,
And I'm Ellie.
and welcome to our first episode of our podcast, Pixelated Passions.
We're both seasoned Otome fans with a huge love for the medium and some pretty strong opinions.
Yeah, the God, listen, I've been known to be a little bit opinionated, so I figured maybe we should yap about it a little bit. So here we
Yeah,
are.
I feel like me as well. I feel like, I've been canceled enough times on Twitter and for my opinions. So I'm a very opinionated person. I like talking
Oh
about
my
how I
God,
feel, and
I'm
this is a
talking with an
great way to
internet
express.
criminal. An
No,
internet criminal, I
no,
tell you. How dare
no.
you say that?
I'm innocent. I'm
I'm
innocent. They just hate it that I express my feelings, okay? I
That's
express my
not.
feelings and they
There's your
hate me
first
for
mistake.
it.
That's not allowed. You can't do that.
No, only you can only speak in facts on Twitter or else they'll hate you.
Exactly, and everyone knows that it's a fact that, well, you know. So, I think as a first good topic, what we should start with today is like the pipeline. So, like, how did you get? So, Ellie, tell me, how did you get into Ultimate Games?
Well, this pipeline is very real and I feel like pretty universal among fans. I know there's a couple out there, but I haven't really met very many people who haven't been exposed to Otome games through anime.
Mm,
And I think that's done on purpose. A lot of like the reverse harem animes, quote unquote, are promo animes for Otome games. So they like come from the same companies who release these Otome games. They want to get these names out there, and what a better way than to animate it and get it known worldwide? And that's exactly how I got into Otome games. Because, well, the first reverse harem anime I ever watched was, I mean, I don't know if you can count it as reverse harem, but I feel like the first season of the anime is, but Ouran High School Host Club, because
iconic.
like it was on Netflix, I think. I don't remember where I watched it for the first
Stop!
time,
I
but
literally watched it on Netflix on my Nintendo Wii. Like,
yes! Yes, it's so classic, and it was so good, and I just came across it one day, and I was like, "Oh, this looks cute?" And then I, like, fell in love, and there was like, I remember getting butterflies while watching it, cause like, I remember the episode with, when Hikaru and Haruhi, like, go on that date or whatever, and I was, like, a huge fan of the twins,
I was about to
and
say, I gotta
seeing,
ask
like
you, who did you want Haruhi with?
oh, Hikaru 100%. I
Me,
was Hikaru all the
yeah.
way.
I Loki like Tamaki was really funny in the anime, but like I don't know. I maybe see.
Like, he's a cutie,
Yeah,
but
he's. I mean, I guess something like that. Actually, don't cancel me. I love him. He's great. I'm so happy.
Well,
I
I
like.
just
I
like
don't
I
know.
think
It's just.
him and Haruhi, I think they're a good match, but I mean, me personally, I think Hikaru and Haruhi had like more chemistry, and I feel like Haruhi did more for Hikaru than like she did for Tamaki. Um, but and also their voice actors are married in real life, so like how
It's
could I
so
not ship
cute. I
Hikaru and
saw
Haruhi?
that. See, I feel like because I
Like,
agree because like my exposure to Ultimate Games was the same. Like I love like my first one was actually Fruits Basket. That was actually my first like
mm,
anime ever. And to this day,
oh
Fruits
wow.
Basket is my favorite show, like group, like series. I love it so much. I originally watched the 2002 2001 version. It was before the 2019 one came out. Um, and like I don't. Did you ever see the original Fruits Basket?
I have not. I've only seen the reboot.
Okay, so the original one, iconic. Don't get me wrong, love it. But like they're they don't resolve anything. Like nothing really happens. Like you meet a bunch of the family members and like there's certain scenes that like are here and there, but like it does not fully resolve at all by any means. And so like
Mm.
afterwards I was like, great, so when's the next season coming out? When there is no next season. So I'm like, oh, okay. Well, now what? And then that's when I started to watch Orange High School Host Club, and then I went on a bit of like a BL side road, watching them in parts on YouTube. But like that's you know, um,
I feel like that's like a bit of a pipeline itself as well. Like, cause I feel like Ouran High School Host Club and Fruits Basket and, like, other romance, like, rom-coms with side characters, like, I'm thinking also, like, Maid Sama too, I don't know if you've seen
Mm,
that, but, like,
I
Maid
actually
Sama
just bought a
also has,
print
like
from Maid Sama.
Really? Oh my gosh, I
Yeah.
loved that show. But, like, in Maid Sama, there's also, like, side characters that are in love with, like, her as well, but they're not true reverse harems because, like, she does
Mhm.
end up like, there's a main guy, you know? And I feel like it's a pipeline to, like from fake reverse harems, if you wanna call them that, to, like, the hardcore reverse harems that
Mhm.
actually are,
Well,
like,
yeah, like, there's the
Otome game
ones that have, like,
promos.
surrounding, like, male supporting cast, but then there's, like, the ones
Yeah.
where, like I feel like even in reverse harems, with the exception of, like, Ultimate game promo reverse harems, which we'll get into, but,
Yes.
like, the Fruits Basket, so our High School Host Club, you kinda know for the most part who she's gonna end up with. It is usually, like
Yes.
even if they entertain the idea of others, like, you usually have an idea, um
Exactly.
and so but, like, there's definitely a difference between something like Maid Sama where it's like they don't really entertain the idea of her being with anybody else, unless I haven't seen it in a while, but, like, it's very much focused on, like, the 2 main leads.
Yeah, yeah. And I feel like there's, like, a pipeline to, like, shows like that, and then to, like, Oran and Fruits Basket, where it feels a little bit more, like, fan servicey from side characters,
Mhm.
and then, like and, you know but you still know who the main guy is, but then, like, at least for me, I would get frustrated because I would always love the guy who wasn't the main
Yes,
lead.
me too.
So
I would never and to this day, even in Otome games, I never almost never like the poster boy, like the main one. It's
yeah.
always one of the side characters.
Yeah, exactly. So, like, at least for me, after watching Oran and stuff, I got frustrated and I was like, I want to see something where it's like I have these options of these guys, but it's not like biased towards one of them.
Mhm.
And so I started doing more research. I was like, what are some other reverse harem animes? And then I came across like Kamigami no Sobi
Huh.
and like Diabolic Lovers and Dance with Devils and all like the promo animes for
Mhm.
Otome games. And that's how I discovered that Otome games existed. I think the first one I watched was Utano Prince Sama. I think that was like the first a- Otome game promo anime that I watched, which became its own thing, which is crazy to me. But I loved Utano Prince Sama. It was so good.
Yeah, I no, I'm trying to think of like because I went from First Basket to Oran High School Host Club to like other like just kind of reverse hand. What was like my first like promo Otome game? I think it might have been. It might was it Utena Prinsema? It might have been. And I feel like it was so massive. And like I loved Utapris like specifically so much because I love music and like kind of having that like whole plethora of
Mhm.
things to enjoy. Like oh my god, Code TVU still like one of my favorite songs to this day. It's a banger. It truly is a banger. And
I
like
feel like the writers of the Utano Prince Sama songs were like on crack because
oh
all of
no,
them are good.
absolutely. And then they injected some of that crack into the songs because like it's
Yes.
so
Yes.
good. Um,
You're addictive.
and then the one that like really like did me in was I played or I watched Magicune Renaissance, and like
No.
I fell so in love with it. Like I even like was like, oh my god, what if I got into flower arranging? Oh my god, like what if I did this? Like oh my god, that looks like so much fun. I was so in love with those characters. And then, like, when she
It's
didn't
such
pick
a
the
cute
one that I
show.
wanted and then didn't pick anybody, I was like, "This is not cool. This is not allowed.
Yeah.
I'm not okay with this." And then I looked it up and I
I'm trying
realized that
to
it was for a game, and I was like, "Oh, I need it."
yeah,
And then I realized it wasn't in English, and I
that's
didn't speak any Japanese at that time, so I was like, "What do you mean?"
I think it's crazy how far, like, localizations have come to recently because I we watched, like, all of these, reverse harem shows, right, that were, like, the promos, like Magicune, and for me, like, Meiji Tokyo Renka was one of my favorites, um,
Mm.
and, like, so many others that what's it called? Arcana Famiglia? Or I don't know how to say it, but that one, like, the Italian mafia one, like, there's so many reverse harem animes that I thought would never get localized. Like after I got into Otome games, started understanding like the localization industry and stuff, I was like, how come these big ones that like everybody loves in the West, these animes like Meiji Tokyo Renka, Arcana Famiglia, like Kamigami no Sabi, I was like, why aren't any of them localized? Because like the localized ones are the ones that aren't animes, like or at least aren't
Yeah.
popular animes. Because like I guess Code Realize has an anime. I've never seen it. I didn't even know it existed until after I
I
played Code
didn't know it
Realize.
existed until I did like that massive paper that I did. And I learned like about like
Really?
the history. I was like, "Oh, it has an anime?" Like I like
Yeah.
cuz seriously, like all the ones that the Ultimate games, like the series Ultimates that people would know are the ones that have animes that kind of somehow got some sort of popularity over here. And a lot of them probably don't
Yeah.
even know that there is an Ultimate game for it, but they're just like, "Oh yeah, I watched Diabolic Lovers in middle school for some reason. Oh
Yeah.
yeah,
And,
I
like, I
saw this."
it's so crazy because like, I thought and I just got used to the fact that I was like, I don't think we're ever gonna get, like, any of these animes, I don't think we're ever gonna get their games localized because like, it just wasn't happening, you know? And, like, Utapri is so big, like, it has such a big Western fan base,
Yeah.
and the Otome games are still not localized, but I have so much more hope now because Meiji Tokyo Renka and Arcana Famiglia both just got localized, or at least Arcana is, like, got announced for localization, and I'm like, "What reality am I living in? Does this mean that these other
I
animes have a chance? Does
swear.
this mean Magikune has a chance of getting
I
localized
will
with little Prince
literally
Sama?
go feral. Feral, I tell you. It's oh my god, like if
It's, like,
Utapri comes out,
crazy.
like there's so many others. Like I understand why some of them won't get localized just because of like cultural differences and things that are like are seen very differently. Like I don't think we
Diabolic
will
Lovers.
ever see a Diabolic Lovers localization ever,
Yeah.
ever. Especially since like I feel like they must be aware of the English patch and like how quote unquote popular it is that like you know what, they'll play it and then they'll buy merch and stuff anyway. It's fine. Let them do their thing.
You know what? I don't even feel bad for like Reject bankrupted themselves. Like they are so that's why they're releasing so much merch. I don't know if you like have like kept up with them, but they're releasing all this merch and all
Hmm.
these new things, but they're not porting their games. They're not even porting their games in like Japanese. They're not even porting their games, not coming out with anything new CDs. Now they're coming out with merch only and like songs. They came out the UE song, which is awesome. But Reject like I don't understand. They're like driving themselves into the ground. They could make so I know they're worried about, like, copyright, right? Which is valid because, like, English people like, the Western fandom, like, pirating is a thing, you know, it's a real
Yeah,
issue.
but
But
that's the thing. Like, we want to listen to the songs, or we want to enjoy the content. If you don't want us to pirate it,
yeah,
release it. Like,
provide it. Exactly, exactly. If you don't want us to copyright these things and, like, pirate it and stuff, make it accessible for us. Like, I don't understand that logic. I'm like,
it's
you would get less people
it's so
pirating it if
outdated,
you made
which
it
is like kind
accessible.
of par for the course for like Japanese country like companies. They
Mhm.
it like it's like Nintendo does like similar things that are just like, why? Like, what are we achieving by doing this? And like,
Well,
oh my
and
god,
it's so
like
crazy
Brothers
because it's
Conflict
like
2 will probably never see the light of day.
yeah, and, like, everybody was like, "Oh, well, some of the games are, like, Vita locked, right? So that's hard," but I don't understand that logic either because from what I've seen from even, like, less like, smaller, game companies, like, I know the Arcana Famiglia localization, and the Meiji Tokyo Renka one, they were both ported and translated at the same time. Like, so or in Arcana Famiglia is being ported and translated at the same time. So, like, it's not impossible to port your games and localize. I mean, yes, I don't know the whole process. I'm not like involved and I can't be
Mhm.
speaking on things I don't know about. But just from what I've seen from other things. But it's just crazy cuz like the Western fandom, I feel like Diabolic Lovers is the one Otome game anime that more people know than others. Like if I were to make a ranking of like popularity of like reverse harem quote unquote animes that like are well known in the West, Diabolic Lovers would be one of the ones on top. It is so
Oh,
well known,
yeah.
even if it's infamously known, it's still well known, and, like, people would buy the game if it got localized. I am so like, more people would buy it than they would buy any other Otome game, I feel like, personally, because
I
it's just,
think
like,
so
a
too. It's also, like,
cultural
infamous. I feel like there would
icon.
be the cultural icon, true. I feel like there would definitely be people too that, like, buy it simply because it's like, "Oh my god, like, I need to see what everyone's talking about." And, like, the
Y
people that, like,
exactly.
like, rant on Twitter about, like, how, like, insane it can be, which, like, they're not even wrong, right? Yeah, I
Yeah.
feel like a lot of people, like, there's a lot of holes or, like, hoops to jump through in order to play Diabolic Lovers. Like, I'm playing through it right now, but, like,
Mhm.
I feel like the hoops that you have to jump through to get there are so like, there's so
Yeah.
many of them that it's just inaccessible, and so for a lot of people that maybe do speak against it and, like, are worried about it, they, like, because there really is a lot more of a story there, and they only saw the anime. And the anime, like,
Mhm.
is not a good portrayal of the actual story. And I'm not gonna sit here and say
It's
Diabolic Lovers is, like, you know, the most calm ultimate game there is, but it's definitely very different than the anime.
Yeah, for sure, and, like, even, like, in I don't know, I feel like they're missing out on such a big fan base, like, just 'cause of I don't know what it is. They say it's the copyright thing. I think they also just kind of hate the West a little bit, which I can understand because, like, they're worried about, like 'cause the Reject makes more dark games, they make darker games,
Mhm.
and they get more backlash for it, and the Western fandom is a little bit more sensitive to, like, triggering things,
Yeah.
which I won't go into detail, but, like, I feel like the Western fandom is a bit more sensitive to things, and they tend to
Yeah.
complain a bit more. So I think I understand them being worried about, like, backlash, right? But also, it has such a big fandom in the West of people who adore it. So, I don't know. I
Mhm.
think it's just weird. Or,
Yeah.
like, I don't know, Broccoli, like, too, their first game they ever localized was, Jack John. And that's crazy to me
That
because
was their
they
first
have
one
2
ever?
very successful yes, and they have
Wow.
very successful animes in the West because they made Kamigami no Usobi and Uta no Prince Sama, and I'm like, "You had these 2 g like, games that you turned into animes to promote and then got very popular in the West, but instead of localizing them, you choose to localize this brand new game that nobody knows anything about," which I'm not mad about, obviously. I
Yeah,
love
I was gonna
Jack
say,
John's a
don't you
masterpiece,
love
one
Jack
of, like,
John?
10 out of 10. Yeah, it's, like, one of my favorite games ever, but also I'm just like, I don't understand the logic behind that because 'cause I'm like, where I don't know, I don't get it.
Yeah, no, I totally feel you because it's like yeah, I didn't know that was their first. That's actually so wild to me. And, like, I feel
Yeah.
like Kamigami no Asobi specifically would do so amazing here. I can just see all the, like, ninth and 10th graders playing Kamigami no Asobi and be you can't you put the gods and I could just see it. We would eat it
Right?
up.
Could you imagine if that came out during, like, the Percy Jackson days?
Oh my
Oh
god.
my
That's
god.
why I'm like, I don't ugh.
I don't like,
When I
I just
first
don't get
watched
it.
it a while like, a when did I watch it? It was I wanna say, like, 2017 is when I discovered and watched Kamigami. Even I was like, "Oh my god, wait,
Mm.
I kinda this is I love this." You have to go to a school with a bunch of hot gods, okay. I'm down.
Right? And it was actually, like, educational too. I don't know if, like, you realize this, but I hyper fixated on Asobi for a while, and, I was, like, doing research on, like, their names and stuff, right? And even, like, it's so well thought out, like, even though there's obviously a lot of inaccuracies that have to make it that way, like, the
Mhm.
relationship between
Like, it's
Balder and
still
Loki is so
fiction, yeah.
different. But yeah, so, like, it's, like, different, but also there's so many references and so many ways you can, like, learn about, like, the actual mythology through it, like Loki's last name, it's like Leviathan, I think it is. That
Mhm.
is like the name of his weapon in actual Norse mythology. The one that I think it's the name of the thing that he uses to kill Balder in the actual mythology. And that's his last name in the show. Or Baldur's last name, Horny, is the name of his boat of that he like rides off during Ragnarok, like the end of the world in the actual Norse mythology. And I didn't know this until I was
Wait, that's
researching about the
actually
show
that
because I liked
attention
it
to
a lot.
detail is so cool.
Right, right. There's like I learned stuff through this, and I think
I
it's so awesome. And
learned.
like, oh, it's one of I did, I learned. It was so fun to, like, learn things that are, like, real from this reverse harem show that I watched.
See, I just
It was
like
so good.
I lost it for Takeru. I love him so much.
Yes. Yes, Kamigami also got me into Japanese mythology too, because I didn't know much about like Shinto and like the pantheon or
Mm,
whatever, until I like got exposed to it through Kamigami no Usobi, and now I'm writing my senior thesis in my for my history degree about the Shinto religion, and it
that's
all
so
stemmed
cool.
from Kamigami
Wait,
no
that's
Usobi.
actually so insane. But yeah, no, I don't know. I just kind of I sometimes I think about like the person I would be if I had never discovered reverse harem, but like also like more so like Otome games. Because I feel like it is
Mhm.
really. I mean, the project that I did last quarter on like kind of like the rhetorical weight of Otome games in society on a global scale made me realize how much I enjoy like research projects and things of that nature. And I mean like
Mhm.
that's like how we ended up like really connecting is because I interviewed you and like I don't know, like I wouldn't have done all of that if I didn't suffer through Cafe Enchanté. Mind you, Cafe Enchanté
Oh.
was my first like formal like actual playing through an Otome game. I did play through Our Life first, which I actually
Mhm.
interviewed the dev for that as well, and it they have it listed as an Otome on Steam, but have said now that they don't really consider it an Otome anymore. Just now that like it's the fandom and like the genre has grown, um, they feel like now there's more space for like more specific genres, like to help people find what they want. So they don't really consider it an Otome anymore. But um, when I played through that first, and I was like, oh my god, I love this. I streamed it back when it was a streamer, and like I cried on stream. I loved it so much, and like um, after that, one of my friends bought me Cafe Enchanté. And I was like, okay, I'll play it. Ignis is hot. I want to date Ignis. Played through it. I actually like couldn't get through it. Like the common route is so long. And so I was
Yeah.
like, all right, I can't do all this. Stopped it. Came back to it at some point down the line because because I started playing Our Life again because it came out with DLC. And I was like, oh my god, I gotta play through this. Played through it and I was like, oh, let me boot up Cafe Enchanté again. I got through the rest of the common route, got onto Ignis's route, and was I Ignis is still one of my favorite love interests ever. I actually don't like Cafe Enchanté as a game. I think it is really boring, and most of the love interests don't appeal to me.
Correct.
But Ignis changed my life. Like I love him so much, so much. I don't know if he's my favorite love
He's
interest
so cute.
ever, but he's one of them, hundred
Definitely up
percent.
there.
Like he's
He's so
definitely
cute.
top three, definitely top three.
I th I think it's so interesting, like, back to what you were saying, how, like, it's, like, affected you, like,
Mm,
and it's, like, in part of your life now, and, like, I don't know, I feel like it's so interesting how Otome games, like, are involved in my life as well and, like, outside of just, like, the games or the fandom, right? I feel like I attribute Otome games, like, discovering it when I first discovered Otome games, like, It I was so self-conscious of playing them because I was like, "This is a dating simulator. Like,
mm-hmm.
am I a freak?" You know? Like, I thought I was
Am
a
I a
weirdo, or even,
freak?
like, when I start well, even when I was watching, like, reverse harem animes, I felt like I was like, "Am I a gooner?" Like, I felt weird. I was like, because I always, like, made fun of guys who were I didn't make fun of them, but, like, silently
Yeah.
judged
Make
guys,
comments, yeah.
like, who are in Yeah, who are, like, into Sword Art Online or, like, I don't know, shows that have, like, lots of female fan service with, like, one guy and, like, a bunch of love interests, like High School
Mhm.
DxD or something like that, you know? And I would, like, silently judge, but then I got into reverse harems and I was like, "Wait, like, oh my god, 1, I'm a hypocrite, and 2, I'm a freak." But I was so, like, self-conscious of it in the beginning,
Mhm.
and I even, like, remember I brought my Switch to school one time and I was, like, playing it at lunch. I was playing Gosh, this was, like, recently. I guess not that recent, but it was when Cupid Parasite got localized, and I was playing it at, like, my
No.
lunch cafeteria, and, oh my gosh, like, I think a scene with, like, the one of them was, like, shirtless came up, right? And I was,
Uh-huh.
like, giggling, and I'm, like, with my friends, and I was in band, so a lot of my friends were guys, and, like, the guy that I was dating at the time, he's my boyfriend. He came up to me, he was, like, looking, he was like, "Oh, is that your porn game? Is those porn
Whoa.
games that you play?" And I was like, "Whoa, like, it's not a porn game." But then I thought about it, like, there is sex in Cupid Parasite, but it's not a porn game, like, it has plot, you know? But I was so embarrassed, and I was like, "Oh my gosh, like, I'm such a weirdo, like, I should be ashamed of myself, you know, like, they're calling me out, like, this isn't normal, you know?" But then, like, I, like, said, "Screw the haters," and I was
Yeah.
like, "You know what? I love this genre, and it offers so much, like, storylines and actual plot." Like, Jacques Jean is my favorite Otome game. People say that they don't even categorize it as Otome because there's so little romance, which I
Mhm.
disagree heavily. But, anyways, like, you know, so it's not just, like, the porn, or if that's what you wanna
Yeah.
call it, aspect
Well, and
that
it's
makes
like
me love Otome games.
exactly, and, like, I mean, we were talking okay, chat, so, like, right before we started the recording, we were actually talking about this topic as well, and it's like, you know what, like, so what? We can all enjoy our Gooner games. It doesn't matter, who cares? But also, like,
Mhm.
beyond that too, like, we talked about this, but, like, there's so much more to Ultimate games, and, like, yes, I love the romance. Um, I do, but, like, A, not all Ultimate games have, like, explicit anything in it. Not all of them I mean, like, Charade Maniacs, like, it doesn't like, yeah, there's, like, cute romance and, like, there's, like, what, like, one Futami scene where it's like, "Hey, yo," but, like, overall, there's, like, and they zoom
Never
in on his hand. They zoom in on his hand. I
ne
was so upset. Anyway,
never
uh
never mention that man's name in my presence, I'll
oh,
crash
that's
out.
right, I forgot you hate him.
Reek.
But, like, there's so much more to Otome games, and it's like, who? Because like, I went through the same thing where I'm like, "Oh my god, like, am I a gooner? Am I a freak for enjoying this?"
My
And it's like, who
freak.
cares? Who cares?
Yeah, yeah. So that's what I was getting to is that, like, I have more confidence in myself now, cause like, before I was like, I didn't even want people to come into my room, like, my friends to enter my room, cause I had, like, a one poster, you know, or, like, some merch, and
Wait,
I
what
was
kind
like, "Oh
of
my god, they can't
poster?
know
What was it?
that I am into." Well, what was the first poster I ever got? I can't even remember, I, like, took some of them down. I think it was a Dialogue Lovers poster, honestly. I'm, like, looking right now, but,
Controversial.
yes, it was yes, I remember which one it was. It was Liato from Dialogue Lovers, and it was, like, pictures of his CGs from the first game. And, it's like an official poster. But so I was, like, embarrassed around my friends. I was like, "I
Mm.
can't have them come in my room, or I have to, like, take my poster down," or, like, cause I was like, they don't like, they can't know that I'm freaky like this, you know, they can't know that I'm into this cringe content. But as I got older, I was like, "You know what? No, this is fun. This is, like, one of my favorite hobbies that I have. It's my favorite
Yeah.
genre, and I know that there's more, like, it's not my fault that they misinterpreted it as, like, a porn game, you know? It's not my fault
Mhm.
that they're misinterpreting it as that, so I'm gonna embrace what I love, and now I have, like, a giant bookshelf that I ordered, and, like, my wall is covered, like, there's no white on my wall with the amount of
Iconic.
posters I have.
You
And,
see it?
like, people appreciate it, though. Like, I like, my
Yeah.
roommate, you know, she's like, "Oh my god, I love how, like, decorated your room is," you know? Or, like, I have friends that come over like, "Oh my god, I love your merch shelf." And, like, they don't know what it is, but they can see that I have, like, a passion for something and that I'm
Yeah,
not embarrassed about
absolutely.
it, and they appreciate that. And I feel like I've grown as a person and come to, like, accept myself more and accept what I like more and be more open about it because of, like, my character development because of Otome games.
Absolutely, absolutely, and, like, I mean, so, like, my first poster was actually a wall scroll, of Oran High
Mm,
School Host Club, but I felt like that was I kinda got away with that easier because it wasn't anime. Like, it wasn't like, it was a little different, like, the perspective was different. You weren't playing as Haruhi.
yeah,
I wish. Please. It will
right?
never happen, but
There's no,
please.
hey, there was an Otome game for Ouran High School Host Club, but it is lost media. It is lost
You're
media, it
actually
is no
you're lying to
no,
me.
I am being so serious. It existed, it was real, and it was a mobile game, but it was an Otome game, but they took it off the App Store, and it is lost media. You can't even find screenshots of it anywhere, but it existed. It existed. It did. It was only in Japanese, and it was only available for, like, a year, but it was real.
I'm gonna crash
There's
out.
also,
I'm actually going to
there's
crash out.
there's a Kamigami no or no, not Kamigami no Sui, Kami-sama Kiss, Otome game as well that is also lost media.
Wait, there's an Oran High
Like,
School Host
it's
Club
crazy.
Nintendo DS game?
Yes, yes.
I I I don't I'm not okay. I'm actually about to be back in the Oran High School Host Club fandom. I'm so back.
No, it's, like, crazy that it's, like, lost media too, the Otome game, it sucks. I'm like, I wish they would dig it up or something, the company that made it, 'cause, like, it'd be so popular.
I literally
I could
I would
date
pay
Hikaru.
$100 for it. One hundred
Oh, me
dollars
too.
just to play it. And
The
it's probably like not even great, realistically. I
No,
don't
for
care.
real.
Give me
I
I
don't care as
want
long
Hikudu in my life so bad.
if I
Uh
can play Hikaru as endgame, like, I will pay
oh
$100, I
yeah,
will.
no, literally. So I've never been one that's like too into fan fiction. I don't even really know why. I guess it's like the writing style of the original like work. I feel like I prefer that. I feel like it
Mhm.
is written more in tune with the characters. I'm sure there's really good fan fiction out there. I'm not going to sit here and say there's none, but it's just like that
Yeah,
writing
yeah.
style is so like specific, and I've never been one to look into fan fiction after the fact of anything, except after I finished Run High School Host Club. I
Real.
was so desperate.
Real.
I'm like, she picked the wrong one. There was an error. There was a mistake.
Something
What
wrong
happened?
happened here.
And I couldn't find a single Loki, anyone that's listening to this, if you can find me some good Haruhi Hikaru fan fiction, please let me know. I need to know. I need it. I need to rewire the past and forget that Tamaki was ever picked. Unless you're a Tamaki
I'm
fan, in
not
which
gonna
case, oh my god, you're so real for that. Yeah.
about the Magic-Queen game. So, the only thing I know about it is that the art style is almost one to one with the anime, which I think is really interesting. It's
I
similar
did notice
to,
that. It is so nice.
yeah, it's, like, similar to Dance with Devils is the same way, which is, like, usually at least, like, with Utano Prince Sama and, like, Kamigami no Sobi and, like, plenty of the other, like, anime promos, Diabolik Lovers, like, the art style is a lot different than the games, but, Magic-Queen is very similar, but that's the only thing that I know. I just
Because
thought that was cool.
I mean, I can't really say that he's actually one of my favorite love interests ever because I haven't played the games. Like, he could be very different, but I love Kanato so much. He has the potential of being one of my favorite love interests, and I need to know if there's any kind of smutty scene with him. I'm gonna assume
Wait,
no.
Hanato from Diabolik Lovers?
Oh no, well, we all know what's in
Oh,
Dialogue. No, from Magic Yun. Hibiki, the red-haired one.
okay, okay, oh my gosh, I loved him. He was so silly.
There's
He
like
was
in
so
the, I think
silly.
it's in. I literally gotta pull it up. It's like his little song. I loved their little songs in Magic Yun. It was so good.
He's he's so himbo. I loved him.
There
And
was
it's like
like
okay,
a scene where he's like in the ocean and like you see his like shoulders and collarbone. Like when I saw that, I was like, I'm weak,
baddie.
literally.
Real? No, I haven't played the Meiji Tokyo Renka game yet, but, I wanna play it so bad because I need to, like, see Endgame. Because she, like have you seen the anime for it?
No.
Okay, well, the anime is actually fire. It's one of my favorite, like,
Mm.
reverse harem animes, like, quality-wise. It's actually really good. I loved it a lot. And I like the art a lot too. It's so silly and it's fun, it's great. But, she ends up with, Ogai, like, but she's, like, endgame from the start, like, you can kinda tell. And they, like, kiss at the end or whatever. And, like, as cool as he is, he's nowhere near my favorite. And the game, like, just got localized, and I've been begging for this forever, and I'm just so broke right now, I haven't bought it yet. And I collect physical copies, so I'd have to, like,
Mm-mm.
order and, like, pay for shipping and stuff because I
I'm
refuse to
the
buy
same
digital
way. I always
copies.
prefer. I have like this stack of like Switch games. People will like come into
Yes!
my room. I'm like, oh my god, what Switch games do you have? And I'm like,
I'm like,
um,
"Oh,
Mario
um"
Kart, Smash Brothers, and a bunch of romance games. Like,
Oh my gosh, literally, mine's the same way. I have, Mario Party and Zelda, and the rest of my stack is Otome games.
and it's so since like the spines are just the titles, like people don't know right
Yeah.
away, and they're like, "Oh, cool! Like, what do you have?" Like,
Yeah.
"Oh my god, do you play Splatoon?" No. Do you play?
No.
No. And then I'll hit them with, "Do you play
Like,
Charade Maniacs? Do you play Cafe Enchanté? Do
what you
you
know about
do
co-realize?
what you
What you
know
know?
about Bustafellows?" Like,
No, literally, it's like it's so funny having to explain because I have to have the conversation so much when,
like
like,
coming
people
out
come to
to
my
your
room and they're like,
parents.
"What
It's
is?"
like,
It is! Oh my gosh, literally, all these people are like, "Oh, like, are these from anime?" And I'm like, "Well,
what?
it's complicated." And I have to explain to, like, every new person that enters my life, I have to explain to them the lore.
Honestly, telling people that I was trans was so much easier than telling some people that I play Ultimate games. To keep it a stack. I feel like I tell them I'm trans and they're like, oh my god, yeah, good for you. I'm happy for you. I tell them I play Ultimate games and it's like, but I mean, like, what is that? Like, why? Like, why? Are you lonely? And I'm
Yeah,
like, oh my god, chill. Like,
this is why you don't have a
it's
boyfriend.
fun. Like, damn.
No, literally, I used to be so freaking self-conscious of it. But, like, I'm happy now that I'm, like, okay, like, it's okay that I have to explain it to people all the time because when they come into my room, but you know what? I love Otome games, and I'm so happy that I discovered them, and
Me
everybody who
too.
judges me for it can suck it.
Period. And
Suck
it's like
it.
one of those things that like I just kind of started to lean into it. Like at this point, like
Yeah.
I just talk about them. I mean, like I won't do it to like a complete stranger. I'll be like, oh my god, and then and then in the scene where you go to the pool and it, like whoever picks your swimsuit is the one that you are actually on the route. I don't do all that, but
Oh,
like I will be in my
Bustafellows
like
reference.
I love Bastavella. It's literally one of my favorite games. But I will like send screenshots if I'm like excited about a scene. Not all of them. Some of them I keep for myself. Oh my god, like last night, I mean it's slightly different. Same idea though. I was reading through like a manhwa that I'm reading through right now, and the translator like do you read manga or any like or manhwa?
I indulge every once in a while.
So like do you know how like sometimes they do the thing where like they'll reference a real life social media like but they won't call it Instagram, they'll call it like Finstagram or
Yeah.
like whatever.
Yes.
Well,
Yeah.
so I'm reading at BL right now. Really good. It's actually really good. Anyway, the translator for it called their version of Instagram. They're like, "Oh yeah, they just posted on Skibbitygram," and I'm like, "I don't like this. Like this. What
No
is this?
way.
Not the Skibbitygram." But so like I don't know.
Dude,
Sometimes I'll see goofy things and like I'll send a screenshot to my friends like in one of my group chats, whether it be the one with like all the like cis straight men or like the one of my friends from school that are, I don't think any of them are straight. Well, anyway, I'll like show them this funny little screenshot, and then you'll see at the top of the screenshot that like a sex scene had just ended, and you'll just see
Oh
like something. It doesn't show anything explicit, but it's like you'll see like a half shirtless man, and it's like oh. And my friends,
my
they
gosh.
know. They just like oh yeah that's yeah. How's the series, Aislinn? You enjoying it? And I'm like yeah I am. Thank you. Like appreciate it.
No, yeah, I that's how you know, like, who your real friends are and stuff. It's people who are like they don't judge you. They won't judge you for whatever the hell you watch or read or play, you know. But when you said
Exactly.
the skibbity gram thing, that reminded me of like when Otome games use modern slang. How do
Yes.
how do you how do you feel about that? How about like how do you guys feel about that? Anyone listening? Like, cause that for me, I think it can be either really funny or just terrible. Like
I think
the localizers have to know like what they're doing to like make it
yeah.
funny. But sometimes I'm like, that was you should not have said that there.
Yeah, I feel like there's two sides of it. One, it's like sometimes they just don't quite use it right. And I wonder like, oh,
Yeah.
did the translator like want to use the word somewhere and so they just like, this is maybe where it could fit? Or do they like not really know how the word is used or whatever? But then I also think like it's gonna feel awkward if I want to play this game again in a few years and like we don't say that anymore. We don't
Oh
we
right. Oh my
don't
gosh.
we don't use that word. Like
Or what kills me is when it's like a historical Otome game and they're
oh my god,
saying
no, that would
some
actually just
slang.
like that would just piss me off just because of like they wouldn't talk like that.
Like
Like
they would not say that.
I love like
Like,
when
uh,
translators do keep in mind like the setting of the game for
mhm.
like how they translate. So like yeah, like you could just translate it literally, but if you're translating like a historical Ultimate game and you use some like maybe some medieval English or like some just older English, like it feels more like I feel like sometimes there are times where translated Ultimate games can feel like watered down versions of the game just because
Mm,
it doesn't like there's just a disconnect. Like so it might use
yeah,
references that like are relevant and topical for a Japanese reader, but like for us it's like oh like it's not that I don't understand the words that they're writing, but it's like I don't really get the context and connotation behind it. Um
yeah. Yeah,
so like
I
I
like,
love when translators like really like are able to really like I don't know, just contextualize it a lot.
yeah, I agree, it's definitely hit or miss, especially with, like, not as big companies or companies that, like, use MTL to, like, help out too, like, that always like, I know, cause like, I played the, English patch of Diabolic Lovers, right, and I know you're playing it right now,
Mhm.
and that was made by just, like, a group of regular people, right? And, as, like, good as it is, like, I can appreciate it for what it is. If they ever did release an official English version of Diabolic Lovers, I would 100%, like, replay Haunted Dark Bridal to experience it because I know, like, just from even reading, like, parts of the English patch that there's, like, parts where I'm like, "Well, is that really what they said here?" And because even, like, listening to the
I
audio
will
or
tell
I
you
don't know,
there are a
sometimes it's
few
like
times where they that is exactly what they said. There was this one
yeah, no, I
I
know
can't remember the specific one, but it was something that Ayato said where I read it and I'm like, "What?" And then I played the voice line again. I'm like, "Oh, he actually okay, got it.
was
Damn."
it the "Don't make me fuck you,
It's
you
like
bitch"
he
one?
said, I don't think it was that one. I wish it was. That's one of my favorite lines. I'll have to listen to that one again. It's like it's been so interesting. Like now that I'm at this point in Japanese where like I am starting to understand more and more. I wouldn't say I understand most of it, but like I'm picking up on more of it. And since I've been playing a lot of games with my friends from Japan lately, they're teaching me things that like wouldn't be in a textbook. And so every so often, like I'll be listening to something like a song that especially like Vocaloid music that I used to listen to a lot when I was a bit younger. I'll hear it now and I'm like, oh, like that's what they're saying. Oh, that is not something I should have been listening to out loud. Like, thankfully, where I came from, like my hometown, there was not very many people, if any, that spoke Japanese. But if they knew, like they would have, I would have gotten some looks.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, I've been there. I remember some of the things I listened to when I was younger that I should not. Like, do you remember that it was like the picture of the anime girl and it's like something like it smells like salty coins and milk
Yep, I
bonbons with
sure
me.
do. My friends used to
So
taunt me with that because I loved Pom 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 so much. So like they would like taunt me with that song, and I'm like, it's. I was like low key a weeb in high school too. Like I can't even lie. I'd be like, it's don't do that. Like it's not cool. That's so messed up. Like I would actually get so like offended because it was like you were defacing my favorite song. It's not fair.
yeah, there's definitely some media like I it's interesting too because like throughout the years like me watching anime I know it's not like anime in or Japanese in anime is often like exaggerated for sure but like, throughout the years picking up things from well, 1, like, watching anime and 2, playing Otome games, and I starting to realize that, like, the parts of Japanese that I know are embarrassing. Like, the words
Mm.
of of Japanese that I know are almost embarrassing because they're, like, words from either reverse harem animes or, like, Otome games that I picked up. I think, like, a lot of them come from Diabolic Lovers because I was
Oh
listening to the
no,
drama I
not the
listen to the
drama
drama CDs
CDs.
a lot. So, I like, the when I learned the word sweet in Japanese, like, I learned that from them, like, when they would suck on Yui's blood and be like, "Oh, this is sweet," you know? That's how I learned
That's
that word.
so
Or, like,
funny.
the color red or, like, the word for blood or the word for human. The amount of times that Carla would be like, "Ningen," and I was like, "What does that mean?" And then I realized, like, even as I'm reading the English translations, I'm like, "Oh, he's saying human." And so, like, I know all these they're like, "Oh, how do you know this word in Japanese?" And I'm like, Diabolic Lovers Drama CD." So bad.
It's so funny because before I
Yeah.
started like formally learning, actually no, I've run into it more so now that I am learning. I'll be in class and like we'll be going over vocabulary or we'll be like doing something or like I'll be talking with my professor and I'll use a word or something like that that like we haven't gone over formally yet and isn't common enough for me to just like know it. Like pretty early on,
Mhm.
I use like the word like he meets it like a secret, and
Mm.
I said something like that. I was like, what did I say? It was like to my Japanese 100 professor. It was like first year, like a while ago, like very like foundational Japanese. I was like, himitsu ga arimasu yo. Oh, and I also got in trouble a lot for like speaking informally because I like I'm so
Oh.
used to like
Yeah.
Otome and like things like that. I would like say things that like shouldn't really be saying to a professor. And like she asked me one day like, "Oh, like how did like do you like watch a lot of anime?" And I was like, "Oh, like I don't really watch that much anymore. I used to." She was like, "Oh, like cuz you have a bigger vocabulary than most people in our class." And I was like, "Oh yeah, I play games in Japanese sometimes, literally admitting what kind of games. Like, I'm not.
Just some games, yeah, some, visual novels,
Yeah, fast forward to last quarter, I had to write, like, an introduction and, like, give that introduction in Japanese, which was then shared with students in Japan, which is how I met some of my Japanese friends. And in that,
Mm.
I literally say, like, Otome game ga daisuki da yo. Like, I don't say literally that, but like, I just say
Yeah,
that I
yeah.
love, that I really like Otome games. Like, one person that has messaged me, because like every so often I'll get people that add me on Instagram, like, oh, like I saw your introduction video. Like, hi, my name is blank. And he was like, one of the only guy that reached out to me. was like, "Oh, like I've never heard of Otome games. I'm assuming they're Japanese." And I'm like, "Yeah." He was like, "Do you know what Otome means?" And I was like, "Yeah." And he was like, "Oh." And then he looked up what kind of game it was, and I was like, "Oh,
Oh,
yeah." He was
oh,
like, "Oh, interesting." Like he
oh
knows
my
what the word
gosh.
Otome means, but like he didn't know how that worked into games, I guess. And then he knew. Like,
I mean, that's valid because, like, if you hear maiden game, like, what are you gonna think? Like,
yeah, no, absolutely.
maiden game. Yeah, I think it's so funny, and, like, I don't know, even, like, through just, like, back to the pipeline subject, like, through reverse harem animes and stuff, the things that I learned oh my gosh. Or, oh my gosh, from Utano Prince Sama, like, do you remember when, did you watch, like, when Heavens came into the show?
I think so. I haven't
Okay,
watched
they're like
Utapri in so long.
They're like the 3rd group that are, like, kind of antagonists in the beginning, but, so the leader is this guy named, Eiichi, right? And his, like, catchphrase is he says, like, "Good," right? But he, like, moans it, and he's like, "Ee," and he, like, moans it, and so that's where I learned that, like, "E" means, like, good, right? But now, like, anytime I hear, like, I don't know, I think of, like, what good means in Japanese, I always attribute it to, like, itchy, and I'm just like I would moan it, like, I'm like, "Ee, ee," like, the way he says it, and I can't view it any other way, and I'm like, Bro, just kill me now."
Oh my god, that's right. No, okay. So
Yeah.
I remember I did find out, like, I did see Heavens, but I don't think I got to the point in the anime. I just remember thinking Hyuga was really hot. Like,
Yes.
that's,
Oh, he's my favorite.
I definitely have a
Maddie.
type. Like, I think about, like, the Otome men that I typically pick. I definitely have a type.
Well, and, like, with Heaven too, that reminds me is, like, I don't understand because Broccoli, like, made hella money off of Jacques Jean, like, you know they did, and but they've had, the new Uta Otome game announced for, like, 5 years. It's called,
Yeah.
Dolce Vita, I think, and Dolce Vita is supposed to have Heavens in it as characters. I don't know if they're gonna be love interests, but I know for sure as characters because that's why everybody was so excited for it. Because Heavens isn't in the Otome games. They were, like, an addition to the
Oh,
anime,
you know
but
what
then
they
people
could be
fell in love with
doing?
them.
They could be going like the Brothers Conflict route where they have like what are the games called? It's like the Brothers
Passion
Conflict game.
Pink
Oh,
and
I almost said Pretty Pink. Like, they might be going that route where they end up having just like three games, and it's
Yeah,
just
I don't
like
know, but they said, like, they're like, "Oh, Utano Prince-sama Dolce Vita, coming soon with Heavens," right? And everybody was, like, freaking out, but that's, like, 5 years
yeah.
ago, and they haven't even released any updates yet, like, nothing, and it's almost like they're gonna cancel it, but then they released the new, mobile game, right? That didn't get translated after they shut down Shining
So
Light,
upset
which I'm
about
still
that.
bitter about.
I'm so bitter about that.
But so Heavens is in their new mobile game, so, like, they're making new content, but I feel like Utsupri abandoned their, like, Otome roots. It's almost kinda sad, like, I feel like they just, like, threw it all away because 'cause they're making so much money from, like, the idol like, side of the fandom,
Yeah.
like, the idol content and, like, the new songs and stuff and, like, the movies that are coming out and, like, the stage shows and stuff. They're making so much money off of it and, like, they haven't well, 1, they haven't released an Otome game in forever, right? And they haven't localized them even though they've, like, localized almost all their other content. And, like, they have this new one announced, but they haven't updated their announcement in, like, 5 years, and it's just crazy, and I'm like, I feel like they're just kinda tossing it to the side because they think they won't make
Hmm.
as much money if they don't, like if they invest in it, but it's so unfortunate 'cause it's like, how are you gonna, like, like, Otome fans got into like, I got into Otome games because of Utano Prince Sama, like,
Hmm.
and I don't know, it bums me out.
I will say, even
It's so
though
sad.
that like Utapri wasn't the like last one that I like, I think the last like reverse harem that I watched that, but like before I was like, I can't do this anymore. I need to play the games. Was probably maybe it was Utapri. Actually, now that I think about it, I like it's oh yeah, no, 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 because like they especially like don't really give you anything in the anime. Like there's so many
Mhm.
scenes where just nothing happens, and like they set up the
Bro,
atmosphere, and then
ugh,
nothing happens.
don't even
And the,
get me started. The part I think it was season 3 or 4 when Tokia is, like, talking to her and there's, like, a fireworks festival and, like, he's gotten so close with her and you're literally like, "Oh my god, he's finally gonna confess, like, he's poster boy, he's finally gonna confess," and they're standing there and he was like, "I love Nanami, I love," and then he, like, chickened out and he's like, "I love your music," and I remember screaming. I screamed at my TV. I was like, "Are you kidding me?"
yeah, I remember
I
the
love
whole
your
arc.
music, bro.
There was the whole arc with like Show was like I can't. Oh god, it's been a while. Show was like doing a commercial or something, and it was
Yes,
like his whole arc about like being manly. And oh god,
yes.
actually, like the way I don't know, just the way that I was so upset because I was like, oh my god, like this is he's my favorite, love him to death. Even like out of everybody in Utapri, doesn't matter. I love Show so much, and like they gave us nothing. And then there's like also these weird, like it's mildly awkward moments, like when Code TVU plays. It's like these two men, like she's just out at night sitting in this like pagoda, is that what they're called? Like the little like hovering thing. And then
Oh,
these
yeah.
two men are just walking at her, singing at her. And it's like and then it goes to a cell phone commercial. And it's like, all right, okay,
Y
got it. Like
No, I like, literally, it's so almost, like, disheartening, but again, like, if you think about it as, like, "Oh, this is a promo for
oh
the
yeah, it's an
games," like, "Oh, it's
advertisement.
genius," right? It's
Yeah.
genius because 'cause you're like, it makes you want more, right? But then they don't give us the
And then they give us
accessibility for
nothing.
more. Nothing. They don't localize it, so we're sitting here like, "Okay, I would throw my money at you if you let me, but you're not letting me."
Yeah.
Ugh. Kills me. Like, how are you gonna release these advertisements, and then when the advertisements work, you don't let us buy your product? Like, what? Bro. Ugh.
Yeah, no, I mean,
It's
because I thought
evil, it's evil.
it's so like it's just not fair. I mean, it's not that it's not fair. They weren't really like they were made for a Japanese audience, and I don't think they expected.
Yeah,
Like they were probably surprised too. But now they know.
that's true.
Now they know.
Yeah. And now I feel like, especially with Utapri especially, it's like, well, now they've gotten the success that they wanted, but now they're, like, switching genres, and a lot of Utapri fans don't even know or who Nanami is. Like, it's 'cause it's crazy, like, the fans who got into it, like, after it got big, who, like, got into the mobile game and stuff, a
Mhm.
lot of them, like, don't even or, like, they at least they don't like Nanami or they, like, brush her under the rug, and, like, even in the movie that came out, like, the first movie they released after, like, the show ended, the Nanami shows up once, and it's during the end credits as, like, a cameo. She's like it's a still shot of her standing backstage watching them, and I was like,
That's
"Are
insane
what?"
work. That is actually
Right?
insane work.
I'm like, "How are you gonna erase an entire main character from
Not
your
even
show just
like
because you wanna
Loki's the
make more
main
money?"
character. She's the protagonist.
Yeah! And I feel like it sucks because like, they're totally leaning into, like, the idol, and I feel like the appeal of, like, the idol genre is one, was a lot of, like, BL, like, what is it? What's the word? Like, potential in a lot of the idol shows when there isn't, like, a female main character, and a lot also, like, a lot of fans, like, want to not, like, self-insert, but, like, I know people who, like or even me, like, would get, like, jealous if there's, like, a main female character that they don't like that's getting attention from, like, their favorite idols or whatever, but because they're, like, leaning into the more idol side of it, they're, like, completely erasing Nanami from, like, the series, which is crazy to me because she was, like, the start of it. The start of Utano Prince Sama was the Otome game, where they fall in love with her, and then you're gonna evolve this series to the point where she's not even mentioned anymore? It's
It's
crazy to me.
absurd. It is so wild to me.
It's so sad. I'm like, "Please,"
I
you
feel
know what?
like
I'm not even
also
that mad. Like, just give
mhm.
me the Otome games and I'll shut up. Just localize the Otome games and I'll shut up about it.
You're
That's all
honestly
I
you're so
want.
real. 'Cause I feel like too there is a bit of like the shift in perspective, and it's not necessarily a bad thing. It's just not for me as much. Like I don't enjoy it as
Yeah.
much. Where it's like kind of like I mean all Ultimate games are kind of first person perspective, but like where like very catered to self insert and
Yeah.
like I think like don't cancel me, but like Love and Deep Space. Even though I have been playing a lot of Love and Deep Space lately, um, but like in general, I just like I kind of do like this weird in between of insert. Like I do like make choices as if it is me. Like what would I pick? But like I
Mhm.
don't self insert and like oh my like this is happening to me. This whatever's happening in this game is happening to me.
Yeah, the
And there's no
MC
shade to
is
self
her own
inserts. Like
person.
I'm not saying anything like that. Um
Yeah.
I just enjoy it more when there's like a character that has their own identity to some degree. And I feel like
Mhm.
more and more lately we're kind of seeing this shift into more like self-insert and like there is no main protagonist with like an image or it's like an image that is so customizable that you can like do your best to make it look like you. And it's like I
Mhm.
love like the main characters that like stick out and like they are their own character and they're not just a blank slate.
Yes.
Like
Yes, me
Olympia
too.
from Olympia Soiree. I
Mhm.
know a lot of people have mixed feelings about that game, but like Olympia as a character, I love her. She is very much her own
Mhm.
character. Tuta from
And
Fellows, love her.
I love when MCs are voiced. That's my favorite thing ever because
Oh,
I feel like it
me
adds so much more
too.
depth. Like, it adds so much more if Ceres from, Verche would have been voiced, that game would have been a 10 out of 10 in my opinion, but
Mm.
she's not voiced, and it's, like, such a when it's an emotional, like, dark game like that, it's and you don't have a voiced MC, it makes, like, the emotional scenes feel flat because 'cause she'll be, like, screaming Bloody Mary, agony, but all you read is the text is, "Ah,"
Ah,
and it's like
yeah.
I wanna hear, cause like, you hear it from the love interest, right? I wanna hear her screams of agony, but anyways. But
Yeah.
I love I agree, and, like, that's like, the thing with back to, like, Utapri too is that, like, a lot of people prefer, like, especially idol fans specifically who, like, aren't Otome game fans, prefer, like, the no MC thing, which is totally valid, and, like, I get it, like, it's its own, like,
Yeah,
audience, which is why, like,
100%.
I had to drop, Idolish 7 because, like, it was a good show, but I was in it because, like, I like Otome games and I thought there was gonna be, like, a romance side plot with the characters and, like, the main girl, but the main girl's just, like, a side character, like, she's not that involved,
Yeah,
like, she's there, I like her, but she's not that involved, and I'm like, "Oh, well, I don't just wanna, like, watch about these guys, like, I wanna see her relationship develop too." But a lot of
yeah,
people love Idol 7 because it's just about the boys, which makes sense, like, that's valid, and that is
yeah,
an own, like
absolutely.
it's all up to personal taste, but it does suck, like, as someone who loves Otome games to see Utano Prince-sama go down that path when it started as an Otome game, because it,
Hmm.
like I don't know, it just makes me feel some type of way because I feel like they're just doing it for the money. Because I do feel like that the genre of, like, idol like, idol fans is bigger than, like,
Oh,
Otome fans, you
absolutely.
know?
Especially with things like
So,
Project
yeah.
Sekai blowing up and things like
Yes.
all these things like VTubers becoming bigger and having their own music careers. Like just that
Yeah.
type of like content is just bigger right now. It's so
Yeah, so
interesting
they're
because I
gonna
feel
wanna,
like
like
Otome games are like becoming more popular in the West, but I feel like this is not really based in any like I haven't really researched this specifically all that much, but it seems like it's kind of the popularity is kind of stagnant uh like in Japan, but like now it's like getting bigger overseas and we're starting to see
yeah.
more like mobile ultimate games which are gotcha games which great. I love
Real.
spending $50 for a kiss scene. Love it. Yippee.
Me. Ugh, that but Obey Me was my downfall. I spent so much money on Obey Me. I spent $100 on the first UR Plus card, the first animated card in Obey Me when it ever came out. It was a Levi card, and I spent $100 on it just because I thought it was like gonna be a really rare thing, just for like every UR released after that to be an animated one. I was so like distraught.
You got
I spent so
scammed.
much money. Yeah, I was expecting it to be like, "Oh my god, I'm never gonna get an opportunity to get this kind of card again. Oh my gosh, I need to get it." I spent $100 and I hard pitied it. I did not get lucky at all. It was so bad. Oh, Obey Me was my downfall. Rest in peace, Obey Me.
I
Did you see
never
it's
got too
over?
into Obey Me.
It finally finished like last month was
Oh
the
my
last
god, that's
chapter
right. I
released.
remember you saying that.
Yeah. Yeah, the
I
last
didn't
chapter
know
released last
Gacha
month.
Otome games ever ended in the first place.
Honestly, everybody's upset about it from what I've seen, like, the fandom, they're like, I don't think
Isn't
they
there a
think
new
well, one,
one,
I think
Evermore?
from what I've seen. No, that was the end, like, was this the end of Nightbringer was, like,
Oh.
the end of Obey Me. So, but people were saying, well, 1, it was, like, written badly because like, you have to well, okay, people were complaining because you have to pick a guy to end up with. So, like, the whole point the appeal of Obey Me, I
Yay!
think, for a
I
long
like
time
that
was that,
ending.
like
I'm happy.
I mean yeah, so it's like because, like, we're Otome players, right? We,
Yeah,
like, appreciate, like,
exactly.
the ending, but also, like, people were saying that because like, the appeal a lot of Obey Me fans, like, didn't play Otome games because they liked Obey Me because 1, well, the MC was gender neutral, but,
Mm-mm.
also that it's like, you can have access to kind of all the guys, so it's kind of like a reverse harem
Yeah.
anime as in a game that's, like, genuine, like, reverse harem. Like, you can have fan service with as many guys as you want and, like, kiss all of them if you wanted, you
All at
know?
the same time.
And yes, I did that once. I remember one of the chapters, I kissed all of them. Like, they know, like, they'll comment about it, but they're, like, okay with it. They're like, "Yeah, you can be in a polycule with us, like, whatever."
You see, I think
Um
it's just like I don't know, like I well, not hate, that's such a strong word. I don't know, I part of, like, what I really enjoy in Otome games is, like I also kind of really like the jealous type sometimes when they're, like that's why when I do play Love in Deep Space, I really like Caleb because he has one voice line where he's like, "I'm the only one that gets this, like, special wake-up treatment, right?" And I'm like, "Oh, right,
Ooh.
of course, yeah, of course, okay."
Okay. I guess
Yeah,
so.
no, you bring up a good point because it's like, yeah, no, like we're ultimate players, so like we're used to picking one.
Yeah, but, like, the fandom was all, like, distraught because you have to pick one guy at in the last chapter to, like, save the world, and you end up with him, and I honestly understand because like, I would have a hard time too because well, my favorite was Mammon, but I loved all of the guys except Beelzebub, but I loved, like, almost all of them,
Mm,
and so, like, having to pick one and reject all the others, like, after when you've been playing this game for so long that allows you to love all of them, I was
that's
like, "Dang,
fair.
they really make you pick one in the end." It was kinda crazy, but, the fandom was, like, in an uproar. I remember seeing on Twitter, everybody was like, "I can't believe it's over and that it ended like that." It felt like do you remember when Game of Thrones ended, when everybody was
Oh
distraught because the
yeah.
last season was terrible? That's how I felt of watching the Oh Baby fiasco go down.
Uh,
Ugh, it was interesting, but you know what? Abemi was one of, like, the things that got me into Otome games too, because I think I downloaded Obemi before maybe I had already played Code Realize, I'm not sure, but it was definitely
mhm.
one of the early things that got me into it, but also I remember, like I think my opinion of Otome games and, like, the genre, like, how, like, the genre is boxed, like, the label, my opinions about it have changed a lot over the years. Because I remember when I first played Obey Me, I was I would rant, like, I would yell at people who would call it an Otome game. I was like, "It is not an Otome game because you can't 1, the guys don't have routes, and 2, the MC is gender neutral, and that means it's not an Otome game." And now I'm like, why did I care so much? Like, I would get so, like, distraught about it. I'd be, like, mad when people call it an Otome game. But now I, like, casually call it an Otome game because, like, yes, there's
Mhm.
features that are different about it, But now I'm, like, obviously more open to I'm, like I now that I've had character development, I
Yeah.
understand that it's
Well, I
okay
too, I
for,
think
like
there's because I actually like part of my research was like on like the definitions of genre. And I feel like we could do a whole episode on this actually, but like
for sure.
there's a big difference between like a literal definition of a genre of like this is like how genres are defined and what is kind of like a recognized genre. And so like yeah, like I feel like it makes sense for us to like look at things like romance visual novels. Like oh, like they're similar to Otome games. So like for the sake of convenience and conversation, Otome games.
Yeah. Yeah, and I, like especially, like I feel like vibes are important too with otome games. I feel like I don't know, the feminine gaze is, like important in an Otome game because like even though the MC in Obey Me is gender neutral, right? And I think and it's very inclusive and I love that about it. I feel like the guys are written in a way where like it doesn't feel like a BL game, you know? Like like games you feel certain ways, right? And I
Oh yeah,
feel
they
like
feel so
BL
different.
games yeah, it's like the way a BL game is written compared to the way an Otome game would be written, or it's different, right? And like I can't like say what's different about it, but just the writing styles I feel like are different. Same with like visual novels for men that have like female love interests, you know? It's like it's different. So I feel like a big thing when I think about Otome games is I consider like how the writing style feels because like each style has their own value, of course. I just feel like otomes have like a
Hmm.
certain style. And if like I'm playing in a game like Obey Me, even though the MC is gender neutral, it has that writing style of an Otome game. So that's kind
Hmm.
of like and it's like a cast of guys and the MC is gender neutral, but I would feel like it's leans more to the Otome side than it does the BL side
Hmm.
in terms of writing style. And I think like that's important to consider because I feel like everybody's so like so black and white about things, and I feel like
Exactly.
1, people need to chill out, and
Yeah, I
2, like,
think
it's nuanced, like, it's okay for the lines to be blurry, but then people
exactly. And
argue that,
it's
like
people will define
uh
things differently and get different vibes from different things. And and
yeah,
it's okay for things to be like separated to help you find something, right? So like
yeah,
if we literally define everything literally as an Otome game, yeah, then it becomes a bit harder to find like the romance visual novels you want. But if we have Otome, we have
yeah,
Amare, and we have well, BL is like kind of the whole separate sort of thing. But if we have these
mhm,
different like categories, we can it's a bit easier to find what we want. I just so happen to
mhm,
like Otome games in the most like literal meaning of it. Um, so I can search for Ultimate games and find the things that I'm into. That's how I can
mhm,
find, my games. Well, someone that is really like more into like an Amare writing style can search for that and find games like that won't
mhm.
have the things that they aren't a fan of.
Yeah, I know some people who use, like, the defense, like, when they like, the fact, like, they like the idea of otome as a genre being, like, a strict genre that doesn't have loose boundaries, is that, like, women have frequently, like, less spaces in on the internet than men do, and, like, have less especially when it comes to video games and, like, it's harder for women to, like, have something, quote, unquote, of their own, but also, I don't think it's bad, like, I don't think inclusivity is bad, and a lot of people that I've talked to, like, kind of give that vibe when they are defending, like, the hard lines of the otome genre is that, like, that it should be, like, for women email MC, and, like, it's fine to think that, but also, like, I don't think, like, people will claim that having, like, one female love interest or something makes it not an otome
Hmm.
game when the cast is, like, 9 men and 1 woman just because it's 1 woman, and I'm like, I feel like that's kind of ridiculous to have, like, that hard of boundaries, because so I'm, like, referring to Oz Mafia when I say that, like, there's, like, 10 routes, and there's 1 route with a girl, and people will,
No,
like,
it
claim that,
invalidates
"Oh,
all
it
of it.
shouldn't
It
be"
invalidates
and it's
all of
Otome
it.
game. Exactly, and I'm like, would you send a fan of Amare or a fan of, like, Yuri games or a fan of, like, general visual novels to go play Oz Mafia because there's one female love interest? Like, no, you're gonna tell
It's
Otome
giving,
games to
oh
go
my god,
Otome
I have a
gamers.
gay friend. You would love each other.
Exactly, exactly. I'm like, so when people are that strict about it, I'm like, that doesn't really make that much sense.
Hmm.
But I used to be that strict about it though. But I've had some character development because
Well,
I've played
and
more
that is
games
the
and I've
amazing
realized that
thing
like,
about humans. We grow and we learn.
yes,
I definitely
true,
used to be
true.
insufferable.
Oh my gosh, yeah. Yeah, I was so cringe. I was like, cause another thing, cause like when I was talking about earlier how I was self-conscious of like playing Otome games when I was that age, I was like so self-conscious of it. But I also like I knew that I was already a freak because I was like in the Undertale fandom, you know, like at its peak
Mm-hmm.
infamous
Yeah.
stage.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
And so I was already, like, self-conscious of that, so I was like, "Oh my god, I'm really, like, a freak, aren't I? Like, I'm so cringe and so embarrassed." Now I'm just like,
You
"Whatever."
gotta pick
Like, what
one. You
to be
can't have
cringe?
both. Undertale and Otome, you're done. You're
For
cooked.
real.
You're just cooked.
It's over. Just end it all right there. No. Literally, like, but now I'm so chill, and I'm just like, "You know what? To be cringe is to be free, and I would
Yeah.
rather be cringe than,
Oh my god,
like, hate
yeah.
myself." So
See, my hyperfixation was Danganronpa.
okay, that's
I
close to Otome
love,
visual novel? Okay, okay.
yeah. I used yeah. So this is before I learned any Japanese. I would literally like my friend would say something. I'd be like, "Sorry, wa chigawa yo." I was
Oh,
so insufferable.
oh. It's giving, Databayo.
Oh god. And like no, the worst
I
part
think
is
it
my
oh my
friend
gosh.
would like encourage it. She'd be like
Oh.
like it was like she was also a weeb. She also loved Danganronpa. So like it was just
Oh,
but like
okay.
the fact that I did that in the first place was mm.
We we all grow, we all have character
We
development.
all grow. That's my tragic backstory. I'm a closeted
No, it's
Danganronpa
okay.
fan.
Literally, I know, like, all of the terrible, nasty smut words in Japanese from the drama CDs that I listen to, so I can't talk. I can't judge at all, like half of my Japanese vocabulary comes from Diabolic Lovers, and I think that that is the worst thing that I could do as a human being.
Okay, also,
It's
just to let
terrible.
you know, I just got Uta no Prince-sama live emotion
Oh,
on my
really?
phone. I did. I can't wait to play it
Uh,
later.
I'm excited for you, but also don't spend any money on that game because you
I
don't wanna give
won't. No,
Broccoli
because I almost spent on
your
Shining Live,
money.
and I'm saying, God, I didn't. Like,
I spent so much money on Shining Live
no.
just for them. I had the biggest UR collection. So I'm a Reggie fan, right? Reggie's my favorite.
Mm.
I had like almost every single Reggie UR known to man. Every time he had an event come out about him, I would spend money. I had a collection. And then they just said, "Oh, sorry English fans. No, no more game for you." And they shut it down. Oh, oh. I will never forgive them for as long as I live.
I will
They were
never.
never.
The venom
Like,
in your words. Like,
they look, they made up for it a little bit with Jacques Jean, right? They localized Jacques Jean, that was a masterpiece.
and the only
They
way they
made up
can
a little
rectify
bit
it is by localizing.
exactly. If you localize Utano Prince Sama the Otome games, then I forgive you, Broccoli, and I will start giving you my money again. But until that day, you won't receive a cent. Not a single cent from me. How dare you?
Well, I think
Shame.
uh, a good way to end us off for this episode is who is your favorite love interest based on just like
Oh.
the fictional interest, and who is your favorite based on like how close they are to your real life type?
Oh my gosh, that is juicy. I love that. So just like fictional wise, my favorite love interest, that's hard. I mean, I would say Impy, like, that's the first person that comes to mind,
Mm.
because Impy was the first that was the first console Otome route that I played, was Impy Barbicane from Code Realize, and because his route is recommended first, and I got Code Realize, that was the first Otome game I owned on the Switch, and I so he was the first love interest I experienced on the Switch, and that game, like, changed my life. I'm, like, so serious when I say this. Code Realize like, altered my brain chemistry, and I've never been the same. And Impy Barbicane was 90% of that, and his route, like, scratched every, like, fantasy, wondrous romance thing that I could ever
Mm.
want. And I don't know, I'm obsessed with him, and I'm obsessed with his relationship with Cardia, and I would die for him. Um, and he, like, I don't know, I feel like he definitely translates like, a little bit to my real life type, because he's really smart, but he's also really silly, and humor is, like, the most attractive thing to me in real life,
Real.
like, with real life
Real.
people,
Me
is you have
too.
like, I cannot date a man who takes himself seriously, like, I can't.
Me
Like,
too.
if you take me
Literally.
like, there's no way, like, the stoic, like, CEO, like, no, I will never, ever entertain anything with you, 'cause, like, I I need some humor, I need some fun in my life, you know? So Impy is definitely that as well, but I'm trying to think, like, who would be my perfect match in real life? Cause okay, while I'm thinking about this, you tell me, like, your favorite,
Yeah,
like, in
okay.
general, love interest.
So my favorite, just like based purely off like the fiction, honestly, despite me disliking the game, probably Ignis. I love Ignis so much. His like growth through the story was so good. It was just so interesting. Oh my god, his CGs are so, oh my god, they're so good. Oh my god, literally, I
Real.
love him so much. I wish he was in a better game. I'll just say it. I wish his game was not Dookie.
I
Um,
agree. I agree. He's my favorite from Cafe Enchanté too.
God, and like when he, ugh, and when he at the end, and then when he, and then when he does the, you know,
Yes.
everyone,
Yup.
if you have not played Cafe Enchanté, I don't blame you. But but if you like the like rambunctious redhead, like that has a lot of energy and is like kind of rude and like kind of an asshole, play like just play Ignis's route. Literally go buy it used from GameStop if you can find it. They don't really carry. Find it somewhere, play Ignis's route, and then return it. I don't care.
Yeah.
I love Ignis so much.
Especially
As
don't play Rindo's route. Don't play
God,
Rindo.
oh God, like all low key, all of their routes were so good except for Ignis. Like,
I feel so bad. So many people love Rindo, and I, like, hate him. And I think I posted, the other day on Twitter, I posted, like, a tier list of all the love interests, and
oh
I had
yes,
Rindo
I've
in,
been
like
wanting to do that like ever since I saw you do that.
I had Rindo in the "I hope you die" section or whatever,
No,
and,
you're
like,
real for that though.
half half of the replies were people being like, "Ellie, why do you hate Rindo so much?" Like, I'm sorry, I can't explain it, really, I can't well, I can, but, like, that's a whole tangent I'll get into another time, but,
See, I
like,
low key
I
really
feel
wish
he
that there was a route for the villain Ignis's route. The other,
Dromi?
yes, that's his name. I ooh.
Me too. Cannibal, we love a cannibal.
Love them. And then for my
Oh,
real life type, like my perfect man that I would be like really into, honestly, it's probably Scarecrow from Bustafellows. I
okay,
love
I see
him
it.
so much. Oh my god, like you're
He's so
skinny,
silly.
scrawny, you don't go outside, and you probably play League of Legends all day. Yeah, let's do a bot lane. Let's.
My gosh, real. He's definitely I didn't like Bustafellas, but I haven't played it in a while, so that's why he's, like, not on my favorite love interest
Don't
list,
talk to
but
me.
he's
Just
definitely my
kidding.
favorite. He's my favorite from Bust of Fellas for sure. I need to replay it before season 2 comes out because everybody seems to love that game. I think I'm
You
the
do.
game's, like, only hater,
It is a
and I don't know
conversation
why
for
on this.
another day, but we will be talking
Yeah,
about
yeah.
this. I can't no,
Yeah.
not okay with it.
Okay, so like, to finish the other part of the
Yeah.
question, okay, so I've been looking. I think most realistically, which kinda goes, I guess, a little bit against what I said about humor and stuff, but, so Hideo from, Chonodoku, the butterflies, chains,
Mhm.
poison one or whatever, so his route, like, also altered my brain chemistry, but in a different kind of way. I don't understand how that game's so underrated. I have never played a route that has like, a romance so natural feeling, so genuine, and so, like, I felt like they were real people, and I was witnessing real
Mm.
people fall in love. Like, it was so well written, and he is, like, so I don't know, I love him so freaking much, and if I was okay, I don't know, like, personality-wise if he's my type in real life, but the way that their relationship developed is how I
Mm.
view
I see.
how I would fall in love with someone in real life. Like, that is how it felt so realistic and so just natural, and, like, if I were to fall in love, like, with someone over the amount of time that it took in that game, I feel like that would be the most realistic way that I would, like, the most
Mhm.
realistic representation. And then, like, personality-wise, I'm thinking Levon from, Psychedelica of the Ashenhawk, which if you haven't played those games, go play them right now. Like, genuine masterpieces.
Ooh,
Oh my god.
okay.
Oh my
I literally
gosh,
have, like,
they're
one route left
incredible.
in, Diabolic Lovers, and then I'm at the point where I'm like, "Okay,
You
what do I play
oh my
next?"
gosh. Psychedelica of the Black Butterfly. Play that immediately. It is so good. But okay, so Levon is like this gentleman, and he is just so kind and sweet. And I think so I'm like a little traumatized, right? And um
The art is so good
so
for Psychedelica. I just looked it up. Oh my god.
oh,
Sorry,
right. Oh
continue.
my god, it's incredible. No, it is a narrative masterpiece. Like the way the relationships are built in that game is you will bawl your eyes out. But okay,
Who
so
is
Levon
he?
is like so I'm traumatized, right? And I don't have high self-esteem, and so whenever I get, like, compliments from people or people are, like, kind to me, especially, like, in a romantic sense, when I get affection from, like, a
Mm.
man, it's crazy to me and, like, mind-blowing, and the bar's in hell, right? But if I can, like, get
Yeah.
treated well, like,
Relatable.
oh my gosh, if I can get treated well, like, that's insane to me, and Levon is like, the way he treats, Jed, that's her the MC's name, the way he treats Jed in Ashenhawk, like, I if that happened to me in real life, I would fall in love instantly. Like, there would be no hesitation. The way he treats her like she's, like, a princess, but not he doesn't, like, coddle her. He, like, raises her up and, like, appreciates her for who she is and, like, loves that she's strong and, like, and takes care of her, but not, like, to oh my god. It's I can rant about him for days. I am so googly eyes over him, and if he was real, like, 100%, like, I'm proposing to him. Like, he doesn't even need to propose to me, I'm proposing to him.
You
So,
literally
yeah.
have put me on something because I just looked it up and I'm looking at all the love interests. I
Douche. Dude, I said douche. Dude, Psychedelica of the Black Butterfly is in like, I cannot describe,
I like
like, the
all of them.
story of this
Like
game.
normally I don't
Like
like every single love interest, but like I'm looking at all of them. I like all their. I mean, my least favorite design is Kaguya. Like he's not. He's I.
okay. Okay, so hear me out. So Kaguya has unfortunately he's a little fugly, right? But he's the best character in that game narratively, in my opinion. But I have one of my least favorite, like I hate him the same level that I hate Toma is in Psychedelic of the
That's
Black
another thing
Butterfly.
we
I
got to
won't
talk
say who it
about.
is.
But yes, continue.
Yes. So, but also some of my favorite Otome characters of all time also come out of the Psychedelica series. And if you have to play Black Butterfly first, and then you play Ashenhawk, and they're interconnected. And when I discovered the connections in Ashenhawk to Black Butterfly, I have not cried that hard since I played Auld Lang Syne
You
in
are
Bust of Fellows.
hyping this up.
I will dick ride those games till I die. So many because the interface, like, because it's on Steam, right? It's not, like, on the Switch, and, like, the interface is kind of hard to, like, get down because there's, like, gameplay, you have to, like, shoot these butterfly things to, like,
Mm.
succeed, um, but once you, like, figure it out, the game, like, the story, the way it's, like, about, like, coming to terms with grief and, like, death and the afterlife, and oh my god, the theming in that game, you will I can't, like, say anything without, like, spoilers, but it
No,
just
I've decided this is my next game. I have so much on my backlog,
yes!
doesn't matter, don't care.
Yes,
Like,
yes, I'm so
I
excited for
just saw
you won't
Yamato.
regret it.
No, I need
He's
to I
oh
need to know what's going on with
my
Yamato.
gosh,
Monchido,
Yamato
I'm actually so
ugh.
excited now.
Okay, fair warning, like, the game happy endings, like, aren't a real thing.
That's oh my god, that's even better. That's even better. I
Yeah, like
love tragedy.
well, like it's so tragic. The only one who has, in my opinion, like, a real, like, true happy ending is Yamato, which is why he's one of my favorites. His
I
route is
go
incredible, and
and
it's
I
so
always said that
romantic,
about
and oh
him.
my gosh. Yes. So, um, like, I think you're gonna like if you like tragedy, you'll love it. It's oh my gosh, it's insane. It's so good.
Literally buying it
Anyways.
as we speak. Like literally right now, I am purchasing it.
Yes! Win for me. You need to tell me after you finish, Diabolik Lovers, you have to tell me what you feel about
Oh
Black
my god,
Butterfly,
I
because
will.
I died. It ruined my life and made my year in the same time, in the same way.
I'm
Okay,
excited.
well.
Well, thank you for today. I'm glad we like. Oh God, literally, you just. I will have to edit it out because the intro music for "Psychedelic of the Black Butterfly" just started. Anyway,
Oh
um, yeah. Thank you so much for yapping with me today.
my
Um,
gosh, my pleasure,
sorry
my
it took
pleasure.
so long for us. Oh my. Okay, for those that are listening, we know we announced this and said it was coming out soon, and then it took like 3 weeks, and we're recording it, and it will probably be another week before it actually comes out. But we had audio issues with our first recording, and then I got like really sick and lost my voice for like a week and a half, and then it was just
Mhm.
like we were so busy and so much going on. But hey,
There was so
thanks
much
for bearing
happening.
with us. Um,
Yes, we are so excited to get this going and just I don't know, I feel like it's the way this podcast is gonna be is it's not gonna we'll have like general ideas for episodes we want to do, right? But it's mostly us just word
we
vomiting,
will
which I think is
definitely
a
go on
good thing.
tangents. We
Like,
will definitely go
yes,
on
yes.
tangents.
And I think it's great for us because at least for me, for sure, is like I need a place to vent about these things, to like talk
Mm.
about it rather than just like keyboard warrioring and like typing all
You
my
fighting for
feelings
your
about
life on
things.
Twitter.
Yes. Yeah, Twitter's fun, but it has its ups and downs. And this will be a great way for us to just like I don't know, talk about anything and everything related to Otome games, and I
Yeah,
love
and
that. We
and
don't
today
have to
was
like have
perfect.
yeah, for sure. It's just like and it's gonna be like this for the other episodes. Like we'll have again, like we'll have things like that we want to talk about, and we'll do research for certain things and stuff. But it'll mostly just be us, just talking like this as friends and
Yeah,
having fun and discussing, controversial things or just things we love. And if you guys, are into that, I mean, keep looking forward
you
to
should
more
like
episodes.
let us know. Oh my god, and tell us who your favorite love interests are. I feel like this is a
Yes,
great
please.
introduction. We're all getting to know each other. We just yapped for
Hmm.
over an hour about our backgrounds, where we come from, and how we got here. Tell us a little about you.
Hmm.
Who's your favorite? Do you
Please.
also hate Fellows? If so, don't
Wait.
talk to me. No kidding. No, please talk to me.
No, talk to me instead. Talk to
Talk
me
to
instead.
Ellie. Yeah. But if you do love Fellows, talk to me.
I'm totally gonna eat my words after I replay it, and I'm gonna
No,
end up,
you
like, loving it or
absolutely are.
something.
You absolutely are. And I can't
I
wait.
hope
I
so.
can't wait for us
I
to get
would
into this call and start this recording, the whatever recording session it is, and you're like, okay, so I have to admit, Fellows is better than I thought. And I'm just gonna sit here and I'm gonna pull up this sound recording and play it in your ear.
No.
Yeah, that's what's
You know
gonna
what? No, I
happen.
would rather love it than hate it. I think it's
Actually,
unfortunate that I
that's
hate it.
fair.
So
That's fair.
I hope I end up liking it. I hope I do.
I would love to say that I'll
Dude,
replay Cafe Enchanté and enjoy it, but I'm good. No, thank
no,
you.
no, never. It's too long.
And it's like the
Too
common route isn't
long.
even that good. Anyway, thank you so much for hanging out with us, guys.
Yes.
Thank you for being patient with
Thank
us while
you.
we figure this out. So if you hear any like audio things or be patient, we're working on it. All right, we're doing our best. I'm sensitive.
Yes, if you
Okay.
have any if you have any feedbacks or criticisms or anything you want to say to us, please don't hesitate.
Yes, please.
Feel free to reach out on Twitter to our personal accounts or our podcast account, like
Mm.
whatever you want to do. We have an Instagram as well and an email if you're desperate, you know, you got
Oh
to email us
yeah,
an
we should
angry
definitely
email.
put the email somewhere. Like,
Yes. If you have angry inquiries, if you want to yell at me because I hate best fellows, you know, like please do.
yeah,
I want to hear your
yeah.
feedback.
Get in
So
line.
please,
I'm first in line. Get in line. Well,
please.
until next time, guys. Thank you.
Yes, thank you. Bye.